I'll extend from the next. It seems like the game plan that you guys had was extremely effective in the first half, kind of collapse it to the other end and force it out. What kind of was working that you guys thought you did in the first half, and then what did Phoenix kind of do with this in the second?
Adjustments. I thought we got a lot of free throws and a lot of calls from the referees, and that was the difference.
Jackie Powell. Jackie, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I couldn't unmute. Hey, Coach, I'm curious as to what you made of how Sabrina and Benijah played off each other this evening, and what you think, needs to improve in the future, looking at their chemistry.
We'll talk about that later. I thought they were really good. Both of them played off one another, shared the ball, worked for each other.
And I'm also curious about Jazz only played 3 minutes. What kept her off the floor tonight?
She was a -5 in the short time she was out there. We went with older, more experienced players than mine.
Sure. Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate it.
Erica Ayala.
All right, thank you for unmuting me. Coach, just overall, can you give us your thoughts about this game and how it came down to the wire?
A lot of things I want to say about the officiating in the WNBA, about the lack of respect that this team has gotten all season. But I can't say that because referees are above reproach. They don't have to do a press conference after games. They don't have to explain the mistakes they made, why they did what they did. I don't know where the accountability is going to come from, but it needs to happen. It was a bad season. The way that they treated us was bad. And that's my story.
Coach, defensively, Sandy Brondello talked about that. It was a defensive set that they hadn't seen in some time, and that was an adjustment that they had to make. Overall, how did you feel about that part of the game for the New York Liberty tonight?
The team was fantastic in their execution of the game plan. Absolutely fantastic. They did more than enough to win this game.
Thanks, Coach. Catch you on the exit interviews.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for talking to us. I wanted to, if I can, bring this back to the beginning of the game where the team absorbed that first punch and countered. At the point that you took that first quarter timeout, the score was 19-6, and 8 of the 11 shots had come from behind the arc. You finished the quarter hitting 7 of 9 with just 2 from deep. What was discussed in that huddle that settled the team and got them to take some more efficient looks?
I think early in the game there was a sense of tightness on both ends, as is to be expected. We got okay looks. We talked a lot about going good to great, and we're getting good. We were getting a lot of great. So we talked about some of the weak points potentially in the defense that we needed to exploit. We talked about needing to get to the free throw line, which unfortunately is not always in our control. And we talked a lot about moving the ball and continuing to keep them in rotations once we get them there.
Michelle Vopel.
Yeah, Coach, I know you're limited, obviously, in what you can say about calls, but were you most concerned about the call that sent Brianna Turner to the line, or not getting a call on Sabrina, or were both of them concerning to you?
No, it actually wasn't either one of those. I didn't have a good enough look really at either one to say. There was a play where Natasha looked from my vantage point like she got fouled. There was a play early in the game where Michaela clearly got fouled by Kia Vaughn. There were multiple plays where we just didn't get calls, and the free throw discrepancy. You guys should go look at the free throw discrepancy when we play Phoenix. So it was 18-7 tonight. I believe in the previous 3 games it was 64-30. In the first half, we were tied at points in the paint. So if anyone wants to say it's because we shoot a lot of threes, well, we outscored them in the paint 34-30. It's not because we don't go to the rim. It's because we don't get respect because we're a young team. That said, this team deserves respect. It's a lot of players who are some of the best that have ever done it. They get the benefit of calls because they've earned it. Unfortunately, that's the way of things. I would think that the focus would be calling the game even regardless of who's on the court, but that's not always the case.
I guess if I could follow up, you do have a young team, but obviously Natasha Howard's a past WNBA champion and Sammy Whitcomb's a past WNBA champion, for example. I mean, do you feel like there should be respect for those players rather than, I mean, it just seems to me like if it's something that people have earned through championships, you have some players who've done that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I don't know that I'm going to get to have the conversation, but I think it's a good question for the people making the calls.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Kelly Whiteside.
Well, can you just take us through the final, 0.4, what you said to them going out and just the tough shot, the catch and shoot and the look that Sabrina got with BG in front of her?
Yeah, we had 2 looks possible in that. We had a lob going toward the basket, and then the lob wasn't there. Then we had Sabrina coming off of a screen. And really, it was just a matter of the team going out and going into the game. There was a lot of magic happening other than Dustin drawing up a really, really good play, and as he did all night, all season. It just didn't go our way.
Thanks, Coach.
Danny Thompson.
Coach Danny Thompson with the 3-point conversion. Brittany Griner has been putting up all-star numbers all season long, but Natasha held her to 16 points tonight. Can you talk about her defensive effort on guarding Brittany most of the evening?
I don't think it's fair to say any one player was responsible for that. It was the entire team. It was the team executing the game plan. They flew around and understood their rotations almost the entire game. I was really, really proud of them, and there's clear frustration on my end, as I'm sure everybody understands, but the tone in the locker room was much different. It's a lot of pride in the way that this team came together, particularly after the Connecticut game versus Washington. And again, tonight, they really turned the corner in terms of togetherness and trust. The way that they shared the ball, the way that they bought into game plans, and really the way that Benijah and Sammy led the team. And Tosh stepped up in a lot of ways with leadership. Benijah and Sammy really stepped up and started holding the team accountable. And I think that the turnaround that we had is a direct result of those 2.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Next, we have Benijah Delaney, Sabrina Nescu, and Natasha Howard. Please raise your hand if you have questions.
Alex Simon from the next. Benijah, when you get this close, people would rightly assume bitterness might be a feeling that's there. But what kind of said in the locker room right now, there's pride about kind of not just the effort you guys are doing all season, but even tonight. Is that kind of something that you feel like you can take away too?
I think the way that we ended tonight, I think we fought to the end, so that's definitely something that we can take into next year. It just gives us momentum. even though things didn't go our way, the way that we came out and played as a group, yeah, there is a sense of pride, that we belong. So we're just gonna take this offseason, continue to be better individually as a group, and just come back next year and fight hard.
Sabrina, there's obviously 0.4 seconds in the game, you barely have time to catch before you have to get a follow-up. Walt said that you guys had a lot of action and then there was the other option to go to you. Can you walk through that very last moment there as the game was up?
Yeah, well, the action was a lot of action and the shot, so that was the action.
Coach mentioned in the first half that it was a lot, in his point of view, there's a lot of tenseness on both teams, and especially in the reflected in the shooting, the Mercury, their shooting numbers down. For your team, it's actually the shooting numbers are rather up and keeping you in the lead. What do you think that the change over the course of the game? How did this feeling of the game change as the game developed?
I think they just got a little bit of momentum going to the second half. But we stuck with it, we kept punching, we took their punches and we would punch back. And it just came down to, just things not going our way in the last few seconds.
Michelle Vocal.
Yeah, Sabrina, forgive me. I'm having a hard time hearing on this Zoom. I just wanted to make sure I heard, did you feel like you were hit a little bit on that last shot or not?
I was. I'm not sure if it was before or after the 0.4 seconds went out, but I fell. So yeah, I was hit. It could have been after. I'm not sure. I have to look at the replay.
Okay. Benaisha, I wanted to ask you this, and actually, Natasha, if you wanted to answer too. Walt said he felt like this team, because it was young, just didn't get as much respect from the referees. And you guys are two more veteran players. Obviously, Natasha, you've won championships. Did you feel that way this year, that you guys didn't get as much respect from the referees, or was that something that was frustrating for you guys?
Absolutely. Like you said, we're a young team, and we didn't get our respect at all this whole season because we're a young team. But that doesn't matter at all. We should still get the same call as Skylar Diggins, DT, Brittany Griner, like all the all-star players. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But we're gonna come out next season, and we'll have to definitely call these calls for us.
Thank you.
Jackie Powell.
All right. Hello, everyone. One question for each of you. So I want to start with Sabrina. So there's been a lot of talk about if these single elimination games are really what the league should be doing to maximize the excitement of the playoffs. What are your thoughts now that you've been through single elimination? And is this type of matchup, or this specific matchup against the Mercury, is this something that you'd like to see in a series rather than single elimination?
I'm not sure what it was like before this, so I guess this is all I know. So I don't think it changes how the game's played, whether there's more games to the series or not. Obviously, we get another chance to play, but I think the teams that earn the respect to get a bye for the first round deserve that. And the teams that are at the bottom deserve to play for their lives. So this is all I know, and I'm fine with the one and done situation. We just have to come out next year and be able to win this game.
I appreciate that. Now, for Natasha, Walt said that the goal for you all tonight was to force the Mercury into their second and third actions. How do you think that went tonight?
I think that went pretty good. Like, we definitely did our job. We definitely took the ball out of Brittany Griner's hand and let the other players, be playmakers instead of Skylar Diggins and Griner. So I think we did a good job on defense.
Right, thank you. And Benaisha, for you, I'm curious now on the other side, how do you think the Mercury were able to counter your offense? And how do you guys think that you were able to execute offensively tonight against what they were showing you on defense?
I think we did a really good job of executing. We continued to attack. And we were getting the looks that we wanted to get. I don't think, we had to force a lot, which was really good for us. So, yeah.
Thanks so much. Have a safe trip back.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you. All three of you, thank you for joining us tonight. This question is for whoever is most comfortable with answering it.
Jeff, it's difficult to hear you.
Oh, sure. Sorry. This question is for anyone who's most comfortable answering it. What sort of statement do you think this sends to the rest of the league going into next season?
I think it just shows what we're capable of. I think we showed a lot of growth. I think it shows that we're here and we're here to stay. I think that there was a lot of questions about how we would come out, what kind of team New York was, and if we were this or if we were that. But I think that throughout the season, and especially, our last game against the Mystics, and then to come out tonight and take it all the way to the wire, I think it says a lot about the New York Liberty team. And we'll be back, and we're going to be really good. Just know that I said it.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And one more quote from me. Early in the first quarter, you guys took a timeout when it was about 17-8, I believe. What was said in that timeout? And did it resemble, what happened in the third quarter against Washington, where the team held themselves accountable and then went out and finished off the rest of the game? And much like tonight, where they go out there, where they went out there and, got back in this game and never trailed by more than 6, I believe, for the rest of the way, and even led for most of this.
Yeah, we went into that timeout just talking about accountability, what was working, what wasn't working, and just making sure that we knew that this was it. Like, we can't come out like that. We have to execute. We have to do our job, and that's pretty much what it was about. And coming out of that timeout, we turn things around.
Appreciate your time and insight, all three of you. Safe travels home. It was a great season. Thank you.
Erica Ayala.
Thank you. Natasha, I would like to go to you for this one. Can you talk a little bit about the defensive plan of the team in a little more detail? And if you think that there was a difference between the first half and the second half on how the team was able to execute the defensive plan?
The defensive plan was, when Brittany Griner get the ball in the paint, we coming at her double team to get the ball out of her hand and let her scoop the ball to the other side of the court. And I think we did a good job, through the whole game. We had some slippage, but we got it together. We had each other's back. And we also made sure that Skylar Diggins, didn't get to the free throw line a lot either. And like I said before, we let the other players be playmakers.
Sabrina, for you, as you take in this first playoff game for yourself, what would you like to see as far as your personal growth, and how do you think the Liberty team will grow after this experience?
Well, we're going to start training camp, like Coach said, at this level. So everything's going to change drastically. We know each other a lot more playing this year together. We're not as young of a team. I'll have, now finally a year in the league and playing against solid teams and knowing what the defenses are going to throw at me, and just be able to take this offseason and grow and be able to be a better, point guard for this team. And so I'm super excited to be able to do that, have an offseason to watch film and be able to see how I can continue to get my teammates in positions to score and succeed for this team. So I'm really excited for this next season, especially with this core group of players, sitting next to me, to be able to grow from here. And this is, kind of the foundation that we laid out through this year. And, we're not expecting anything other than how we came out of this game.
And Betnijah, for you, obviously all season on the court, and I'm sure in the locker room you've been one of the leaders. Can you share with us what your message and what the message from teammate to teammate and the leadership was at the end of this game?
Just that I was really proud of us, the way that we came out and played. Just, nobody thought that we would be in this position. And so the fact that we stuck together, we made it here and we fought hard, I was just really excited for what will come in the future. I told them this is our momentum right here. The way we ended and the way we fought and stayed together, play for one another is the same way that we need to go into next year.
Christina Williams.
I just wanted to follow up with Erica's question, but this one is for Sabrina. Did you at any point this season feel any pressure to exceed expectations that people put on you to perform at a high level this season?
No, I think those expectations come from within, never, from the outside. I think my main goal was to just get healthy and be out there on the floor. So it was nice to have that break and be able to come out, in the second half and feel a lot more like myself and, be able to grow on and off the floor. So to answer your questions, no.
We have time for one more. Miles Ehrlich.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, Sabrina, hi. There were just 9 turnovers tonight in a game where there was a lot of switching by both teams. And this was one of the most consistent 4-quarter efforts by the team this season. How encouraging is it to put together that kind of complete effort on such a large stage?
Yeah, they're a great transition team and we can afford to be giving them layups and be turning the ball over, especially high ball turnovers. And so, turnovers has been a huge kind of thing that we've been keying in on this entire season to try and limit and do a better job of taking care of the ball and making the right pass, not overpassing, not being sloppy with the ball. And I think we did a great job tonight, especially with the defense that likes to get up and, be felt. I think we did a great job of, limiting our turnovers and not allowing fast break opportunities and easy shots in the rim.
Thank you. And then just one quick follow-up for Banaja. I wanted to ask you about Beck Allen in particular and her versatility on defense. She had another really strong game on both ends. She hit 3 threes, but she also had 3 blocks and she played some defense on Skylar and then can play basically on any position on the court. What have you seen from her growth throughout this season?
Beck was really good for us. She brings a lot of versatility, like you said, on both ends of the floor. She can guard a big, she can guard a guard. She's capable of scoring at 3-point range, the mid-range level as well as at the rim. So for her to come back and just continue to get better and grow off of the season that she had this year, it'll be really good for us.
Thank you all for joining. We will send the recording shortly.